Hi guys, this is Miss Leslie from the Paul Sawyer Public Library. Thanks so much for joining me today. And for today's craft from our spring break craft kit, if I can get that out of my mouth this morning, I'm going to teach you guys how to do straw weaving. So we're going to take some everyday items from our craft kit, like some straws, and we're going to create either a bookmark or a bracelet. So let's get started. So the bag you're going to need to pull out of your kit has 6 wrapped paper straws and 2 bundles of yarn. So all you're going to need out of that kit actually are 3 of the straws and 1 bundle of yarn right now. So grab 3 straws and 1 bundle of yarn. And a couple things you'll need from home are a pair of scissors and some Scotch tape or masking tape, whatever tape you have available. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab 3 of your straws and you're going to kind of put them all together where they line up like that. So you're going to line them all up kind of in a row and get them all nice and even. And then you're going to take a piece of tape and you're going to tape your straws together. So you're just going to fold that tape around and it's going to look like this. So you're going to tape them up to where they're kind of loose in the middle, but they're taped at the top. So that is the very first thing you're going to do. And you'll lay those aside, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to find the end of your yarn and you're going to cut off 3 fairly long pieces of yarn. So about like that. If it's a little bit longer, that's okay. And I put 2 bundles in there so you could make 2 straw weaves if you want to, or if you need extra yarn while you're weaving your first one, you have it available to you. Sometimes it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly how much you'll need. All right, so you're going to cut off 3 pieces of yarn from your bundle, and we're going to set those aside and we're going to use them later. So we're going to pull our straws back that we taped, and now we're going to find the end of our bundle and we're just going to start weaving. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a nice long tail of that yarn, and we're going to take that yarn and put it right up between one of our straws. So you're going to put it right in the middle of one of our straws right there. And you're going to see that part of it is hanging out the back of the straw. And you want to leave that there because we're going to use that later to tie it off. So what you're going to do is you're going to start weaving over and under, over and under. So once we've slid that underneath there, just like that, we're going to start weaving. So our first weave is actually over. So we're going to go over that first straw that we stuck the yarn under. We're going to go over it, and then we're going to go under it. And then we're going to go over the next straw, and then under the next. And then come back around and go over and under. Over and under. Just like that. So when you get started with your first weave, it'll look like that. So you're going to go over and under, over and under. And you might have to have a little help from an adult, and that is okay. But once you get going with that movement of over and under, it'll get really easy. And it's easy to do it underneath the straws because you have a little bit of extra room. And the cool thing about weaving, guys, is if you make a mistake, all you have to do is pull that yarn back out from underneath these straws, and unlike a regular loom or a cardboard loom, these straws are really easy to weave on. So if you make a mistake, like I have many times, it's easier to pull out because these straws are not taped completely together. So you just continue on with over and under, over and under. And I'm going to get a little bit of this done, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So that's what it looks like, over and under, over and under. So that's the front, and then that is the back. So you'll have some nice little lines in there where you've got space in between for over and under. And you'll continue on down the line till you get to the end of your straws. Not completely to the end, you'll leave a little room at the bottom. I'm going to show you one that I've already gotten to the bottom. So here's my taped end. And there's my little tail that I left to tie off. So here's my taped end. And here's the end that I finished up on. So I've got over and under, over and under. And I've left a little tail at the bottom to cut off. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take those 3 pieces of yarn that we cut off earlier, and you're going to slide them through your straws. So that's why we didn't tape the tops of our straws, because we want to use our straws. We want to use the inside of our straws. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull that yarn through one of your straws. So that is one. You're going to pull it through. Now we're going to take another piece. Move that one kind of out of the way. And we're going to go through the other straw. So you're going to have 3 pieces of yarn inside the straw. So all 3 straws will be filled with yarn. And I may have cut a little too much off, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough, so I have plenty to tie off. So I'm going to finish up with this last piece. And honestly, I found that weaving through straws is so much easier than using a cardboard loom or even a loom made out of paper or even a regular loom, because there's a little bit more give in the straw. So if you make a mistake, which let me tell you, I have made many, and that's okay, you can pull it apart. So you have all 3 of your pieces of yarn that you cut earlier down through the middle of those straws. So now what you're going to do is you're going to find the end. After you've finished and gotten to the bottom, you're going to find the end that's untaped. So here's the taped end, that's the top. You're going to find the bottom, and that end does not have the tape. That's the end where you finished up and left a little tail to tie off. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab that end piece that you ended your weave with, and you're going to tie it to one of those strings. You're just going to make a little knot. And make sure when you make a little knot that you don't pull the other yarn all the way through the other end. So you're going to knot it just like that. Let me show you my knot. You're going to knot it just like that. So it still has a little wiggle room, but it will tighten it up at the very end. Now what you're going to do, at that same end where you made a knot, you're going to take the other 2 pieces of yarn that were stuck through the middle of the straws, and you're going to tie those in a knot, making sure that you don't pull the other ones from the other end, because this is going to secure everything together. So we're going to tie those in a knot, and it seems kind of confusing right now, but it all works out in the end, because when I first started doing it, I was like, this isn't going to work, but it does. So now I take both of those. I've got 2 knots. And now I'm going to take all 4 pieces, the last piece of my weave, and the other 3 straws, and I'm going to tie them all together. So I'm going to have 4 strings tied together. In a nice knot, making sure that I don't pull them through the other side, because I'm eventually going to pull them to the other side, but I don't need to do it just yet. So now I've got those all tied. Move that one out of the way. So it's going to look like a big knot at the very end, but I'll show you how it's going to come together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to set it upright like this. So the taped end's at the top and the knot end's at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pushing that weave off the straw. So I'm going to go from the taped end to the bottom end as I push. So I'm going to push from the taped end. And you're going to think it's never going to come off, but it will. And you just keep pushing it down. And you might have to have a little help, because when I first started, I thought this is never going to come off the straws, but then it did. And then all those pieces that you put through the middle, because you didn't tie off the taped end, are going to come through the bottom. So now we've got it all pulled off, and it looks just like this. So now what we're going to do is those ends we left at the top, we're going to tie all those off. So you should have a tail and 3 other pieces. So all you're going to do is you're going to tie them all together in one big knot. Just as easy as that. And if you need help with your knot, just make sure to ask an adult, because sometimes it's a little tricky to get all those strings together. So you just want to make sure you secure it with a knot. And what you can do at the ends of these, if you have some beads, you can tie some beads on there to add a little bit more decor. You can cut off the strings. You can tie them in a bigger knot. You can add a lot of different elements to this. I didn't have any beads at home, so I'm not going to add any. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of that extra off. And actually, I'm going to tie this a little tighter down here now that I got a little bit more give. And like I said, you have that extra bundle of yarn. So if you don't want to do a second one, but you need more for the first one, go ahead and use that. Or if you have other colors of yarn at home that you want to use, or beads or whatever, feel free to do that. Because this is your creation. I'm just showing you how to get started. So that is it. That is how you weave on straws. So just that motion of over, under on your straws, and you can use this as a bookmark. You can use it as a bracelet, all kinds of things. You can do rainbow colors. You can change out you can start with one piece of yarn, and then if you want to change colors, tie another color onto your existing yarn. You can weave all different things through it. But that is how you weave with straws. And as you are weaving, guys, one thing I will tell you, as you're weaving on your straws, as you are progressing with the weave down the straws, just keep pushing it up. Because you want to make sure that you get all those spaces in there so you can get a nice tight weave like you see here. But that is it. That is how you take an everyday item like drinking straws and make a really cool piece of decor. Whether you're going to use it for a bookmark or you're going to use it for a bracelet or give it as a gift. That is how you weave using straws. So I hope you guys enjoyed our craft for today. And I thank you guys so much for joining me, and have a great week. Thanks so much.